How's it going, guys? I'm super excited. We finally picked up a BMW 330 for NASA racing, NASA racing. Right now it's a fully stock car. It's a little bit beat up condition with some blown airbags, 160,000 miles. The main criteria, we had to have a manual transmission on it. It has to be 330, ideally. 2-door, I mean 4 doors allowed, but I think it's about 60 pounds heavier. It's a day one of a build. We're gonna start removing engine transmission on it, take entire interior apart, pull the roll cage in there, all the racing parts. We have a massive list of items we're allowed to use and things we're not allowed to use. So I'm super excited. Like we actually, right by the time we got here, we started taking the door panels off. So I'm super excited. All the door panels, entire interior, everything is gonna be thrown away. We'll see if we need the speakers or not. Maybe some valuable items we'll probably keep, but from now on we're gonna start tearing entire interior apart and to the bare metal. And the roll cage is probably gonna be one of the first ones to start with. I'm here with Michael Johnson, if you wanna show up. He's gonna be our leading coach.
Hey gang, my name's Michael Johnson. Delighted to be here at Workstate BMW, professional racing driver and coach with the team. And very excited, cool project to be a part of here with Victor. He's in the car, we're diving into it, getting it torn apart. And my responsibilities are really from the driving side. So professional driver, and also here to help the other drivers that are joining the team, the guys that are getting involved. So we can get them out on track in their cars, help them learn to drive safely on the track and learn good, proper driving techniques. So worked for years and years as a racing coach in a number of different schools, different manufacturers. So kind of excited to be with BMW. I've worked with Porsche extensively, McLaren, even worked with some of the Italian brands as well. So really excited to be working with the BMW cars a little bit now. They're front engine, rear wheel drive, so an absolute blast to drive. So excited to be helping Workstate's drivers get on track. Very cool car. Behind me, 2001 BMW 330 Ci. And the reason we went with this car is that it's legal, it's eligible for competition in a very popular category known as SPEC E46. So this is BMW's E46 chassis. And within this category, it's very tightly regulated in terms of the rules, what we can, what we can't do to the car. And what that does is it really puts an emphasis on the driver. So within the Workstate driver development program, we've got 3 levels. The first is where drivers can bring their own cars to the track with us. So if you have a sporty BMW, we can get it set up for you, get it on the track. And then this is our first level of racing. So kind of our second tier drivers. For those that want to get on track, they want to start racing wheel to wheel. Wonderful platform, super fun to drive in a very competitive series where drivers can really figure out where they stand. So that's kind of the thought. That's our idea behind the SPEC E46. Looking forward to seeing our drivers get on track with it.
So this car is as bad as it gets. I mean, come on this side. Look at this cooling hoses. It's all the clamps on it. It's all swollen up, you see that? It looks like it's about to explode. A massive coolant leak right here, which is really bad. The massive leak right here, it's a leak on a cylinder head, cooling pipes. And I'm pretty sure that's why he blew the head on it, because it's like one of the most common leaks. And it's been leaking for a while. Besides that, besides all the oil leaks, power steering, I'm wondering if he's aware, it's been dripping since we parked it. And it's not even screwed in. Like, look at that. With drain plug, you see that? That's how we got the car. It's hand tight. So I don't know if he forgot to screw it in or it's stripped. I mean, I guess we're gonna pull the engine out anyway, so we're gonna find out. Transmission doesn't look too bad, but all of this is gonna come off very soon. The body looks solid. I don't see any frame damage. Overall, it's no rust on it, so overall body itself, I mean, that's all we care about. The body itself looks pretty solid. And all of the suspension really doesn't matter because we're gonna change the strut, the shocks, springs, all the control arms, braking pinion, all of that is gonna be replaced. We're gonna completely get rid of the compressor, obviously, because racing cars don't need AC compressor. We're gonna make it lightweight, electric fan, radiator. It looks like it's been here forever. This car's seen better days. Let's find out if there's any oil in there, like at all. Let's see what we get. The moment of truth. You know, Michael, you said it stopped smoking. The reason why it stopped smoking is because it ran out of oil. Oil leaked out. All right, it's getting tight, so it's stripped. Let me get a tool because it's stripped. It was getting tight on the way out. I think it's a 17. Oh no, there's oil there. We good. It's a good amount of oil. It's a good sign. All right, guys, so we're in day 2 of this project. So far, we got some of the interior out. Transmission's been removed already. We got it washed. Exhaust is gonna be in the trash. Come this way. It's a little intense way to remove an engine, but we're gonna lighten up the car, so we're not gonna use a lot of components like AC units. That's why we decided to pull the whole reinforcement in the front. Like I mentioned, transmission is out already. We're gonna be pulling the engine out in just a minute and getting rid of most of the AC lines, the heater lines. And for right now, I'm just playing with the interior. I gotta say, we're not doing full force. We're kind of taking it easy on it. But it's pretty exciting just to throw things away, rather than trying to save them and remove them carefully. So it's kind of cool. So the second seat comes out now. We got a Modelo here. Nice. So we bought the car from a young kid in California. This is, by the way, this is not sponsored by Modelo. And I hope your dad doesn't watch this YouTube video and finds out you're drinking and driving. So we'll keep it. And it's expired July 2021. Come on. Let's see what else we find in here. Candy. You want to see what else you can find under the seats? Lots of trash. And usually a lot of change too. You go to Albertsons, those coin collectors. The best part, you don't have to be gentle with any of this. It's going to be thrown away anyways. Shift it up, maybe we'll keep it. All right, so this is where we at for now with interior. Let's find Chris and get the engine out. I mean, obviously everything is going to be removed. The carpets, seats, everything, steering wheel. We'll get even the dashboard out. We'll put the dashboard back in place, but I want to get rid of the heater lines, AC lines, entertainment system, vents, the doors, blown motor itself, assembly. It's all heavy, so we got to remove it all. We haven't removed this engine in a long time, so I just got to find the second point. Hook up the chain to pull the engine out. We'll probably do it on a flywheel in the back, one of the bigger bolts. It's been a while. I mean, we used to, 10 years, I want to say 10. The condition of the engine, I mean, you see it's all baked in oil. Coolant. It's been leaking coolant for a while. You have a better view from this edge right here. It's a cylinder head. Pipes that go on the cylinder head. We're going to eliminate the compressor completely, so it's going to give us a little bit more power, obviously more weight, so the pulley itself, the compressor, is going to be completely eliminated. It'll be warm, we won't get cold on the track, that's for sure. We're going to throw everything in a parts washer, just like you see the old big top engine in there. We got the tranny washing right now. Still going to use a little bit of a degreaser to get rid of the rest of the spots. It was dark, it was like as black as this corner you see right here. Entire transmission was fully baked, just like the engine is. So every part that we remove from the engine, like filter housing, the heads and everything, we want to make sure it'll be nice and washed, so it's going to look pretty fresh when we're done with it. It's like a dishwasher, but bigger, pretty much. A big dishwasher. And that's a skimmer. So as you can see, it gets all the dirt collected from the tranny. Look at the bucket. There's a fresh bucket before that. Oh shit, coolant. So we're not gonna use the heater lines. We're gonna get rid of a lot of stuff because this is you got a heater valve here. The heater lines were going under the dashboard, so we'll take the stuff from the vehicle whatsoever. So we're gonna eliminate a lot of things. Evaporative emission systems, like the canisters, the valves. I mean, canisters in the back, but all the evap system for the fuel emission. I'm gonna eliminate that as well. It's a day 2. Once again, guys, so we have the very confusing part of the project. There's gonna be wiring harness. I'm trying to separate the harness from the functional harness we're gonna need for ABS, the engine management control system, some of the Y sensors, and removing the harness we're not gonna functionally use, like the seat modules, entertainment system, for instance, and not as much as a weight saving, but to make it a lot more simple to work in the future. For instance, this is like, I don't know, 15 to 20, probably 15 pounds of harness. This is just the entertainment system. So that would be your harness for the speakers, your radio, so just the entertainment itself. So you can imagine how much weight. The confusing part becomes in the center of the car, the junction boxes and the fuse boxes in the front of the vehicle. This is where it becomes intense because everything comes to the main harness, and separating them one by one I'm not sure how deep they go on these builds typically. I haven't seen one under the dashboard to see if they just wrap the wires around or not. I am trying to separate the harness from the main one, so I'm putting small labels in there, for example. That's a sunroof, right? So I put a small label. I'm trying to eliminate the entire harness. And I'm not trying to chop it or cut it. I want to make sure I get to the basis of it, if it's going to the module, fuse box, and properly remove it so I don't have any cut wires for possible short circuits in the future. Same thing, we got for example, the airbags or seat harnesses, also label them. And mainly keep it functional. And I can show you a pretty cool thing. Let me get the keys and connect the battery. So most people will probably be scared to put the terminals with this mass in there and get a power to the vehicle, but let's give it a try. We'll turn the ignition on and let's say check the functionality of the window regulators. And let's see if the window works. So this is what I'm trying to complete here, is to remove a wiring we're not gonna use. I don't think we're gonna use window regulators in the future anyways. We need to keep the things like white rate sensors. This sensor is a part of the ABS module. We need to keep the main harness, obviously the power supply, the fuel pump modules. There's another ABS sensor on the passenger side, so we need to make sure those will be functional for the ABS system. We're not gonna do EWS immobilizer, we're gonna do EWS delete anyway, so we might remove the rest of the harness. We will leave a little harness for the instrument cluster itself. So it's a lot more intense than I anticipated. It's not scary, it's just very time consuming. Like throwing away things like the seats, it's a fun part. When it comes to this, it's not as fun. It's very complicated, and it takes a lot of attention to be concentrated on what are you doing here. Because if you mess something up, it might take hours to put it back together. Once you put the vehicle back together, engine, trying to run the vehicle, and you have fault codes, short circuits, whatever it is. We'll update you. Once we remove the rest of the harness, we'll do the comparison, comparing to what it looks right now. Once we remove most of the wiring, we're gonna isolate it properly. Because one thing you don't really think about, all the harness, when you have a vehicle, it's mounted somewhere. It's mounted in the seats. It's got normally the clips. You got the carpet laying around, so the harness itself is not moving around. Now, when it's all exposed and you're racing the vehicle, the vibration and all this movement is gonna eventually cause the open and close circuits on the harness itself. So we need to make sure we isolate it properly and lock it properly from any potential movement.